Superflex PPR 1.75 tight end premium start 10. Scott, are you going CJ Stroud, Hollywood Brown in a 25 second, or Justin Herbert and Garrett Wilson? Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I think aside from needing something the next 3 weeks, which you're not even guaranteed to get that with Stroud this weekend. So I'm probably going the Herbert, Garrett Wilson side here. I'd rather have Stroud over Herbert, but I think that's closer than the gap between Wilson and Hollywood in a second. I think Hollywood is one of those guys where Shane likes him. I like him. He's a good player. He's always had good metrics, but he's on that precipice of he's going to need to either rebound the rest of this year, go somewhere exciting in free agency, or he becomes he's Brandon Cooks. He's Tyler Lockett, where it's like he's stuck. He's never going to recover. He's always going to be more valuable when you have him. So he's not an asset he's an asset that I want, but not an asset that I want so I can go and move it for something else. Because once you have him, you're stuck with him probably till the end of his career.
He hasn't been liquid for a while. He's like a little bit more liquid than Dio John, maybe. Shane, what do you think on this one, man? You going Herbie and Garrett Wilson as well?
Yeah, Herbert love bug and Herbert the love bug and Garrett Wilson. Like Scott said, the gap between Garrett Wilson and Hollywood Brown is
that's a big old delta.
It's infinite. It's basically infinite. It never ends. I used to like Brown. I looked at my shares today. I just noticed I have 2 left, which seems about right. Because he's already in that range of like he's just a dude that's kind of hanging around.
Is it even close if it were to be? I wouldn't even go there. I was going to say if you're getting a stack and switching that trade up a little bit to get the Garrett Wilson side, but no big deal. Scott, Shane and I were talking extensively before the show, our pre-show, 15 seconds worth of talking about this. What do you think Garrett Wilson's going to be like with Aaron Rodgers next year? I mean, we should be hoping in our heads that he's going to be what we thought he was going to be this year, right? Are you bullish on him?
Not bullish. I think he's proven that he's very good. He just needs the situation to elevate him. But I do think, I don't want to jinx him, but I do think we're setting up on a pretty thin margin for him next year because it sounds like the Jets are going to try to run it back with everything they have this year in Aaron Rodgers. And if it goes wrong, are we going to forgive another year of Garrett Wilson? Oh, man, just doesn't have a quarterback. You know what I mean? It's not that I'm worried, but I think that people go, oh, Rodgers is going to be healthy. He was top 20 or better this year, so he's automatically top 5, top 8 next year because Rodgers comes back. I think we're going to be posturing a little bit on Wilson and overcorrecting for the fact that he produced without a good offense. Therefore, when he gets a good offense, he's just going to be a top 5 receiver. So I actually will sell if that's the narrative come time Rodgers comes back.
Shane, you've got something to say, but let me tee it up for you. So you guys just recorded reacting to reactions or something along those lines last night. Manic and Chill. Our Patreons already have that episode, by the way. Just saying, Patreon.com/allgas.
Do we like that better?
I was going to ask you, what's going to be the reaction to? How are you going to react to the reaction when Aaron Rodgers is back in the mix, Garrett Wilson, etc.? How's the community going to react, and what are you going to do with shares of any or all the above?
I already tried to buy as much Garrett Wilson as I possibly could, I'm probably not going to be able to in the offseason when when Aaron Rodgers is what's the word I'm looking for, confirmed to be coming back. I think Scott's spot on. The expectation is going to be a top 5 wide receiver season for Garrett Wilson. I don't know that it's out of his sphere either, because I think he could do that. He's wide receiver 21 this year with me playing quarterback. You know what it's like trying to catch quarterback from a dude that's smoking on the field. Terrible. It's terrible. So could he be a top 5 wide receiver with Aaron Rodgers? Yes. Do I want to pay for that? No, I really don't. And I like Garrett Wilson a lot, but no, I don't want to pay for that.
Fair enough. Aiden, thank you for the super chat, man. We have a 10-team Superflex start 10, 1.5 for tight ends. Herbo, Drake, Kincaid, Geno for Hurts and a 25 first. Feel like I paid a lot, but super contender playoff push, pair with Allen. So what do you think about that, Scott? 10-team Superflex start 10, Herbert, Drake, Kincaid, and Geno, or Hurts and a 25 first?
10 teams start 10, so extremely shallow. I mean, you basically tacked on Drake London and Geno Smith for the tax on Herbert to get Geno or to get Jalen Hurts. A 25 first for Kincaid in that format, I think that's pretty square. A lot of people wouldn't sell Kincaid, but I think a first and a 1.5 premium for any absolutely smashing, crushing the world tight end is a fair price. So eliminate the first and Kincaid. It's basically, yeah, you know what? If you really want to get out of the Justin Herbert business right now, this is probably what you have to pay. I mean, the fact that you got one of those assets, the other person to take Geno Smith in a 10-teamer, what are you actually giving up there? Your fourth quarterback? You know what I mean? I guess seems to be a cheaper bailout price. You're probably not going to like this unless you win the championship, but I'm okay doing it, especially with Herbert being done for the year. Yeah, your back's against the wall. And I don't know, did he make this before or after? I'm assuming
this is an after.
This has got to be an after, but it's wild here. I mean, Hurts is attainable now.
Well, he says pair with Allen.
Yeah, that confused me too.
I'm wondering if he went the other side here.
It sounds like he did. Like
he's stacking Kincaid and Allen.
Does he know Herbert's out?
I mean, I read it as I'm giving all that up to get Jalen Hurts in the first, which I'm okay with because you're netting a first and you're getting a first for Kincaid, right? So you're basically paying a tax on top of Herbert, Drake London, Geno Smith. I don't even count him in a 10 team as a tax. He's just a throw-in. But I'm thinking I don't know, has he clarified or not? I'm thinking he got the Justin Herbert side.
Yeah, is he down in the comments yet? He said pairing Hurts with Allen.
With Josh Allen.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Okay. Right. So we like the Hurts side, correct?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, it's a cheap bailout price, right?
Yeah.
I mean, listen, Herbert's depreciated 20% because he's out for the year. Hate to say it, but if you need a quarterback, you're not going to go, hey, Herbert's the same as CJ Stroud. Let's make you're not going to do that. You're paying a significant tax to get off the injured guy.
And I always mean to tee this up too when we're starting these streams. So all of our hammers, our squirters, etc. in the crowd know what this is by now. But if you're listening on replay, welcome. When we say start 9, 10, 11, etc., what we mean is how many players you start in your lineup each week, not including kicker or defense, because they're not real people. So just think of how many players you start in your lineup, take away kicker and defense. If that means 9, then we're talking to you. 9 is shallow, 11 is deep. Think of it like that. Easy enough. Keep it that way. Okay. So let's go to Matt Glore here. Thank you for the super chat. Remember him from last week. Part 1. Hey guys, I was here last week. OSU alum. Yes. And talked trading up to the 101 from the 102. With also trading a combo of Dell, Rice, and 3 late 24 picks. I remember this one. 1 QB PPR. Who did that? Who is this person? Is this you, Shane, messing with? Stop touching things.
I think it was Shane and I at the same time, which is why one
I was trying to hit hide, and by the time I hit it, someone hit show, hide, and then it became show.
I give us like a 4.5 out of 10 so far here, 9 minutes into the stream.
I am out. Shane will get all of the comments, and I will not touch anything. That way we do not have too many cooks in the kitchen. So we're good to go. Sorry, Matt.
We're good. So yeah, he was talking about trading up from the 102 to the 101 and then also like a combo package. But he says it's a 1 QB PPR league. I also have the likely 101 or 102 in 2025 from a prior trade. Only deal he wants is 102 in 24 and that top 5 25 pick for the 101. And he said it's a 10 team. No way. This is the 1 QB PPR. I feel like this was, it's probably pretty shallow, right? Start 9 or 10.
You know what? YOLO. If you really want to do it, I'm okay doing it. Because you're getting what you think is a guaranteed stud player. Even if he's not a stud, you have stud value. It's expensive, right? I could argue that this would be a dream trade if you had the 101. Picture last year if you had Bijan and you weren't ready for Bijan and someone's giving you the 102 and the future 101. You're going like, thank you. Don't care who it is.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yep. But it sounds like he's ready to make this move, and you're locking in your choice of any player. So I'm okay with it. It's expensive, but go with it.
Yep.
Do it.
Yeah, done for me as well. Okay, let's keep rolling here. So SXP92 asks, in a 12-team Superflex start 9, what players would you realistically target and willingly purchase with the 101? Shane, who comes to mind here? I won't lead the witness.
I'm assuming this is non-quarterback criterion.
Correct.
Okay,
How many fingers here, Shane? How many fingers can you actually count the players on? Does it even get to one hand?
Jefferson, Chase,
CD Lamb.
I'll tell you what, CD is on the precipice of that. And for what it's worth, if I did rankings, and this comes to mind because I was doing a Didit call with someone and he had both players and we were talking about a big trade he could make. And I thought it through and I said, you know what, if I had to trade one of the two, I'd rather be AJ Brown. So I clearly value CD Lamb more. CD Lamb's close. Sure. It's close. I mean, CD Lamb's still only 24. I mean, his 2 last seasons, this season and the last prior, really good, really good. He probably deserves to be in that breath with them.
But that's it, right? Those 3.
Yeah, and not even AJ. I love AJ, but AJ
matters this year. No production matters.
That's it.
Yeah.
End of list. End of list.
Short list again. Non-quarterback contingent.
Okay, well, let's do quarterback real quick. 101. What quarterback? Yeah. What are you trading the 101 for? What's the lowest quarterback you'd go?
Well, obviously, there's Hurts, Mahomes, Allen.
I think you've been pretty clear when we talked the other day that's Stroud.
Stroud, right? You're taking Stroud over 101, Shane?
Back Shane's debating.
It's great podcasting. He's shaking his head.
That's
the last one right there.
I forget sometimes that this comes out on the podcast feed later. So my apologies. I was pausing for emphases. So if you're listening on the radio, just imagine me staring into the darkness, very confused. I don't think I would trade the 101 for Stroud.
Lamar, you're Stroud over Lamar these days. Where you at?
I love Lamar, but no, give me the 101.
Yeah. Okay.
I think the summary of that is Shane just named 7 players max that he would give up the 101 for. But the reality is, if you have the 101 and you go try to get Lamar, Herbert, Burrow, AJ Brown, Amon-Ra, Bijan, the other person's going to go, I need more because I've seen it before, right? So just the prices don't add up. We're probably higher on those high picks than the community, meaning the price they would want to sell you on is here. I'll give you, how about Brandon Ayuk in a first, Shane? A random 25 first. That's not enough, right? For the 101.
No.
But that's kind of the range someone would want to sell you on. As soon as you start talking elite players, it's I need the 101 plus. And that's not where the waters are going to settle come April or May. It's going to be that 101 is going to be the 7th pick off the board in a startup like Shane just ranked them. But right now the trade market isn't like that because we're just not to that season yet.
Yeah. Okay, let me just put this up here real quick. Mike, you asked about general thoughts on the values of 102 through 106 and seconds. Can you put in the chat what the format is? And then we'll come back to this. All right, so guys, let's say the positive first. We made it into the playoffs. Let's say we didn't get a first round bye, but we're in the playoffs. Just talk to me. You're looking at those teams. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to bolster? Are you seeing where you can sell from some excess and still compete? See all of the above. Who wants to start?
I mean,
Shane's got the dirt bikes.
Yeah, I got the dirt bikes behind me. Yeah, I'm trying to bolster. My teams that have made the playoffs, I'm confident in literally all of them. And the ones that I wasn't, I'm making moves to add just a little bit more to build that confidence up. So I've been adding to them. Even the 6 seeds. I'm in a league with Scott where I'm the 6 seed. I think he's like the 2 seed because he's better than me. But I made 2 trades today that are just exact, like win now by any means necessary. And it's partly because the rest of my roster I feel like is ascending. And I think I can beat I can make a run in the playoffs. So I'm still adding to him. It might be delusion. It could just be delusion from being in the playoffs and going, I think I can do this, but that's what I'm doing.
I'm going for it, man. Scott, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think well, first of all, we're assuming this question comes with the caveat that there's no trade deadline. Because I've run into a lot of people that trade deadline's already passed, unfortunately. Probably 80% of the people that ask questions, I can't trade right now. Trading deadline was 2 weeks ago. So some of this maneuvering based on schedules, based on, how your matchup looks, like this is the time where I think you can really zoom in on who your opponents are. Who your matchups favor this week, what do you maybe need? And I think you can kind of afford to spot, buy or sell based on what your team looks like. I'll give a couple examples. The teams I've lost Herbert, I'm willing to pivot probably within 10 to 20% of the quarterbacks either way. So I'll add or I'll subtract to go get a quarterback that's in a similar tier. So I'll even down tier from like Herbert to T-Law or someone like that. Like I'm willing just for the short term, Herbert to Brock Purdy, depending on what the plus is. But then there's other teams where I go, all right, I'm the 6 seed, I'm the 5 seed. And I have more of these than I thought, where I have probably 5 or 6 teams where I'm like, well, I got Nick Mullins and Joe Flacco and Jake Browning. And, I might have lost Justin Herbert. I have 2 teams specifically where I am either the 4, 5, or 6 seed. I lost Justin Herbert, but I have at least 2 of like the 4 backups that are going to be starting this week. Do I really want to go add my 206 and a third to Justin Herbert to get Trevor Lawrence to then be an overwhelming underdog every step of the way? And I'm like, that's when I'm looking at the matchups going, well, Nick Mullins against Cincinnati, like, you never know. So it's like, I'm rather just bet on those guys. So I do think it's context specific as to how aggressively you're going to buy. On the contrary, I am willing to sell all those backup QBs to the teams that lost QBs, even if they're going against me. I have a team against me that lost Herbert, and he's the number 3 seed, and I'm the 6. He's desperate. It's a 2 QB league. He doesn't have a second starter. Now, you would say I probably should not sell him a quarterback, right? Because he's facing me in the first round.
But you're getting a haul.
You choose Flacco, Browning, or Mullins. I need 2/3 for any of them. You pick. Yeah. Don't care which one. Yeah, I'll give you 2 of them for 3/3. You decide. But I'm willing to sell
it's an extra third tax, but yes, you can have one for me.
You want to go at my Josh Allen and Kyler Murray with your Jared Goff and Nick Mullins? Let's go. You know what I mean? Like that's where I'm like, all right, I'm willing to help that person out. A lot of people wouldn't be willing to sell to their opponent if they know their opponent's in a pinch. But I'm like, how many leagues do I have? You know how many leagues I'm going to be starting Joe Flacco, Jake Browning, and Nick Mullins? Too many. So I'm like, I'll hedge my bets and go against him in a couple leagues too.
And Danny DeVito. He fantastic.
But fun fact, since week 10, he's outscored Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, he's a monster. The dude runs for 80 yards a game.
Watching him run, he is fast as hell. No, he's fun to root for.
I mean, he's smart. He goes, I'm not good at this throwing shit. I'm just taking off. Like, I'm gone.
He is gone.
Meanwhile, you have Will Levis that tries to run everybody over.
Yeah, good for him. Good for him.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move to this one right here because this is an interesting player. So Alan asks, is Josh Downs a hold right now? He had a nice little surge early to mid-season and has fallen off with only 2 to 4 catches per game now. Nobody in my league seems to value him too highly. What are your thoughts on Josh Downs? I mean, first off, we talked about start 9, start 10, start 11. Is he even relevant, or does he have much of a chance of being relevant in the start 9 ever?
Ever?
I mean, if you're making a bet, are you even worrying about him in a start 9? Or are you gladly trading him away?
No, because the only way I can see him mattering is Michael Pittman leaves, and then somehow Josh Downs picks up those additional 5% of target share. And there was a time there, and I haven't looked lately because he's been bombing, that Downs' target share was pretty impressive. I mean, he had some weeks where he's over 20. I'm just going to look him up real quick right now. Yeah, he's dipped to 18%, which is still impressive for a rookie. but I need Michael Pittman to leave. Because even when Anthony Richardson was playing, he was targeting Michael Pittman. Everybody's targeting Michael Pittman, as they should.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely dipped in the last month or so. I know he was injured on and off a couple times this year. I still think, though, for a rookie, I'll be curious when Shane does his like end of season cohort reports on rookies, how he matches up. I'm looking up his Trinity data right now, but he's somewhere between like a 5 and a 6.5 on the Trinity score, which isn't great, but it also isn't like he's bad. He's not like an auto sell. So I'm looking as of through week 13, because we don't have the week 14 data uploaded yet, but through week 13, 5.62 Trinity score. So basically,
what's the highest, Scott? What's the highest for those listening?
I mean, effectively, it's in the 9s, but 10 technically. Yep. But really good is above like 7.5, 8 when you're getting in that range. Like those are where all the elite receivers are. Anything above like 9 is just unworldly. But anywhere between like 5 and 7, like a threshold receiver, right? If you look at some of the other names that are in that same, area, expected fantasy points 10.8, his fantasy points per game under the season 9.8. So I mean, he could end up getting close to double figures, and compared to his KTC value, I think he is what he is. I think he's a probably a wide receiver 25 to 50 ish, and certain formats there's room for that. Other formats, a start 9, you're going. That's where you basically liquidate. You'd take like a second back so you can try to move it for something else. You know what I mean? He's probably not going to be relevant there. So
yeah,
I'm good with him.
I mean, so he's going to just, I haven't, it's been a while since I looked at the spreadsheets, but he's going to need his scoring is going to need to uptick a little bit for me to feel super confident in him. He's at 9.77 per game. If he can get it almost a full point more, 10.5 is where we're really cooking. Under that, I'll be digging in all that a few weeks.
Yeah, he still has a quasi live market in the leagues where I have him. He definitely still has some interest. This guy said that there wasn't much of a market, but I don't know. I like Downs.
To be fair, a lot of the leagues that you're playing in are start 11, start 12. Like receivers in that range are generally more valuable to the group than they would be if it's a start 9 or start 10. So I'm just going to give real quick as I get this filter, I'm going to give you a couple other names. If you want to ask another question, we can come back to Downs, but I think this will be a cool exercise for people to hear. So go on and I'll come back to it in a minute.
All right. Sounds good. So let's go. I don't know if Mike ever put in the format for that one, Shane. It's the first start. If you ever found other Mike.
Say it.
Okay. All right. So let's go to,
wait,
there was
I found it
here. You did find it? Okay, cool. So his question again was first year Dynasty football. You guys have been super helpful. Glad to hear that. What are your general thoughts on the values of 102 through 106 and seconds? And the format was Shane? Blurry Shane? There we go.
Is this the same Mike?
Yeah, it's got to be. 12-team PPR, super flex, no tight end premium, start 10, deep rosters. So speak to the value, Scott, of 102 to 106 in general and seconds.
Well, the value of what they're going to be on the market or how they should be valued. Because I do think when we get close to draft time, you are going to see, look at last year. Last year had a tier break right around 105 or 106, right? Gibbs, JSN. That's when people were like, okay, I'm good after that. Even 103, 104 with Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. All those guys, though, were top 30 assets, top 24 assets. Not saying that's right. If anything, you can look at last year and go, we were crazy to rank JSN, Bryce Young as top 24, top 30 dynasty assets off the rip. 6 rookies should not be valued in the top 24 to top 30 of dynasty assets. We've learned our lesson, probably. But is that going to change this year? It's probably not. In fact, it's probably going to be the exact same thing, even though we had the same mistake that's been made in the past. We're going to go right back into it. Well, because Drake May's better than Bryce Young, and Jaden Daniels is Anthony Richardson, and gosh, the receivers, there's 5 Jackson Smith and Jigbas in this class, plus an elite tight end, plus a Marvin Harrison. And so we're going to do startups. And by the time you get to the 4th round of the startup, all the rookie picks are going to be gone. Now, is that what the market is on them? Good luck trying to get, 3rd round startup pick for your 110, but the reality is people are going to prefer picks in this class. So shop around. If you're holding a 102 through 106, now you're on the real high end of that whole first round, right? You're talking like pretty good chance there's premium players in there. That's how you have to treat them. And it may mean you get blocked all the way up until the draft. Ah, man, that 102, I'm not sure. 106, there's not going to be any good players then. Like, you may have to hold them all.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this class may warrant it. Not even from what the players are going to do, but what everybody else is going to think they're going to do.
What's funny is I think it was Shane Helm that did a 2-round rookie mock draft today. As soon as we got past 106, I stopped caring. I read the names, but 106 is literally where I was like, all right, right here, Brock Bowers. That's it. It was, it was the 3 quarterbacks, the 2 wide receivers, and Brock Bowers. After that, I don't know. But the 102 through 106 are going to be valuable. Like Scott said, I'd prefer to trade them if I can and get a sure asset. But if I'm stuck making those picks, I won't be sad.
So let me ask you this. What are you doing right now with, okay, let's say it's a 109, for example. Are you trading a 109 for what you think is going to be a mid-25 first right now? Or how are you playing those late firsts? You trying to kick them to 25 now, or is it not the time? Is it based on your league economy when those picks have steam? Go ahead.
What do you think, Shane? Because I think I've made the mistake in the past where thinking that I know the cutoff and willing to make that bet earlier as Clay bails on us forever.
Yeah, enough of us.
Yeah, we'll wait till it comes back. But I've in the past said I know where that tier break's going to be. Like, I've thought it's going to be at 107, 108, and I'll just trade everything after that for a future first. And then sometimes you get it wrong by a slot or two. So I think maybe a little more conservative this year.
No.
109, 110. And if you can't get it, then hold the pick. Where are you at?
No, I mean, I'm likely looking at right now. Obviously, we're super early in the process. Anything 108 or later, I'll kick. 107. Someone brought up Roma Dunze. Look, there's going to be a conversation around Roma Dunze, and I'm sure Emeka Ibuka will be coming back into favor too. So it's a class that could easily, by the time the draft rolls around, that we think all 12 picks are good picks. But history will show us that it's not going to be. So there probably should be a cutoff where it's going to be at least 108, 109, 110, obviously 11 and 12.
Scott, let's go back to the Trinity. You good to did you pull something up?
Yeah, I was just looking at Josh Downs in comparison to some of the other rookies. He's basically back to back, slightly ahead of Rashee Rice and Jaden Reed. But I don't think people view the 3 in the same light, right? They would go, oh man, Rashee Rice, love him. Jaden Reed, really like him. Josh Downs, he's just a guy. So maybe that makes him, I don't want to say he's a buy, but I think that makes me feel like, okay, at least you have somebody that you don't have to just smash sell because you're worried that he's not any good. Now, I can give you other names around him. He's higher than Jackson Smith and Jigba. He's higher than Elijah Moore, slightly below some veteran guys that you'd probably say there's no way these guys are better, but the Trinity score doesn't lie, does it? Jerry Jeudy, 6.4. So far ahead of Josh Downs. And then there's some guys that are even higher where you're like, I don't even know what the market is on some of these guys. Cortland Sutton, Christian Kirk. So when you start getting into that range and I start telling you Cortland Sutton, Christian Kirk, those are guys that really you feel like have no value, right? As soon as you get them on your roster, they're in the I have them, I'm stuck with them range. So if you wanted to get off of Josh Downs and you could get Christian Kirk in a third or something like that, you're probably making a pretty good bet that you're going to end up in the same place eventually. You're just taking away some age. So he's interesting. I think he's more of a threshold receiver than we think, but expecting him to rise above this range, I think is probably a flaw. So buy and sell. There you go. That's my takeaway.
Yeah, part of it's how you get there, though, right? Like Josh Downs hit early, and Rashee Rice, it was a slow percolating build. It kept coming and coming. Eventually, his routes participation is going to really spike, and then his target share is going to spike because his targets per route run was really high. And now it feels like, all right, we finally got there at Rashee Rice. So he seems like he's ascending where Josh Downs seems as if he's plateaued.
Yeah, I'm about to pull up here in the OG league, Shane. I traded you, excuse me, DK Metcalf for Rashi Rice and a 24 first. But what did that first end up being? Let's see, because that's an
What
interesting
team was
trade.
it?
So it's in the OG league. It was
Who
me and
owns the first? Or
Shane.
whose first is it?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it here. So it looks like, wait, no, never mind. Never mind. It wasn't a DK trade. It was an Addison trade. I guess I'll go ahead and read it while I'm here. I got Goedert, Rice in a 25 second, Shane's 25 second, and gave away Addison in a 25 third. No, whatever. That's fine. I could have sworn it was a DK trade. Anyway, okay, let's keep moving here. And when I went backwards out of the stream, I now lost the ability to see the starred comments. I know this one is starred though. This is Nathan Robarge with the tabby, with the calico, the orange cat. Thank you for the super chat. How do I best acquire wide receivers in the 10 to 30-ish range? Scott talked about this range last week. 12 team, start 11, super flex, 2.0 for tight ends, 30-man rosters. Lamar, Stroud, Bryce, backup QBs, Keaton, Tank, Akers, Dell, Rice, Downs, Andrews. 24, 101, and 3 more late firsts. And then is there another part? I'm Ron Burgundy. Yeah, 1 of 2. What can you put the 2 of 2 up? I lost all my freaking comments.
Oh, I have to do it.
I got you, Shane.
Thank you.
I will drive, and Shane can just keep adding comments. Let me see if I can find Nathan's 2 of 2. Hopefully, it got starred in here.
It did.
Hopefully.
Nathan.
Try looking immediately after his first one.
There we go, Nathan.
Nice.
There we go.
4 seconds, 5 thirds. Leaning Marvin Harrison Jr. if I keep the 101. Package a few late seconds and thirds for a wide receiver in the threshold range. Much love. Appreciate it, man.
So Shane, he's got Tank Dell, Rashee Rice, and Josh Downs. And he's got Marvin Harrison if he wants him. And he does have Lamar and CJ Stroud, so he could justify taking Marv if he wanted. He's got 3 late firsts. And I did talk about this with if you have late first, being able to buy those impactful but wide receiver 10 to 30 range guys. Mm-hmm. And the question is, depending on where those picks are, you think you can even strike on getting some of those guys? Because you're not going to be able to go to the top end of the tier. It's going to be the guys you're going to be able to get are like DJ Moore is probably the best one. You're probably fishing a tier below that. Okay, so you'd give up like 110 for DJ Moore?
Yeah, look, I'm looking at all the unsexy names, although Pittman is becoming sexy.
Pittman, Ayuk, Devontae Smith, those guys are top 15 at this point. So they're
DJ Moore, Nico Collins.
Steve Higgins, Nico Collins, DJ Moore, those types.
I'd give up 110 repeatedly and incessantly to do so.
So if you could get all 3 of those for the 108, 109, and 111, you would just make all 3 trades?
Oh, I'd smash that.
There's your receiver room, Nathan. Right?
There you go.
He's got and okay, now if you do that, you have Tank Dell, Rashee Rice, Josh Downs in those 3. Are you still going Marv at 101?
I don't care. I'm going Marv because who's his quarterbacks? Lamar,
Stroud, Rice.
I'll see if I can get CD Lamb, Chase, Jefferson straight up for the 101. And if not, well, screw you guys. I'm taking Marv. And then I'll take Rashee Rice and Tank and those other jabronis and see if I can add them together. At least 2 of those.
It's a start 11. Let's not get too crazy here.
No, that's what I'm doing. It's start 12. It's start 11. That's fine. We've got like 7 wide receivers. We're going to take a couple of those mid pieces and see if we can get and tier up. Rice and Downs together. What can that get me? Downs and Dell. There you go. I'm trading Downs and Dell.
If you ever have like a spending limit you need to hit, just ask Shane. Shane, I got 12
he's like, I got
the next 2 years. I need to get rid of them. Gone. 9 of them will be gone in the next hour.
He's like, do you have an active trademark in your league? Yeah, it's pretty active. All right, awesome. We'll get back to you in 15 minutes. All right, let's see.
That is a service that we could maybe offer if Shane was willing. Like Shane, I have an extremely active league. I need you to take over my username for an hour and
I'm
send out
building it.
100 trades. I'll give you 50 cents an offer that you send.
50 cents an offer, I'd be rich.
It's being built. Okay,
Well,
let's this was just a super sticker earlier when I was talking about A-Rod. He said if A-Rod QB Wilson top 10 easy. Love you boys. Appreciate the super chat, man. Good looking out.
Look, I don't disagree. I don't. I mean, I like Garrett Wilson a lot. And like I said, we've seen what he's done with not good quarterback play.
Yep. Okay, let's go right here to this one from Stiglitz X. Thank you for the super chat. Can you guys think of a player comparison value-wise for Malik Nabers? Locked in the 102 in a non-super flex, but also receiving trade offers already for the 102. So Olave or Nabers?
Olave.
I think by the time
you know the answer is Olave.
I think by the time we get to rookie season, Malik Nabers is going to be wide receiver 6, 7, 8, 9 in Dynasty.
Yeah.
He will be that high. He'll go where JSN was last year because Marv is going to be at 3.
Yeah.
He'll be top 10. So, I mean, if you want to give him up, if you want to give the pick up for Wilson, Olave, and someone in that range, then sure. But that's where he's going to be valued. That was the question, is value player-wise.
Yeah.
He's going to be top 10 or higher.
Yeah, look, if he's wide receiver 6, and I like Nabers, if he's wide receiver 6 in Dynasty, there's a good chance that I'll be selling him. I'll be trading him off.
Listen, I've already seen people talking about it. Oh, man, there's a prominent Bengals writer that before the Bengals somehow went on a heater and are winning games when they shouldn't. That's another story.
Yep.
He kept saying, how the hell did the LSU get another Jamar Chase in 3 years? So there's going to be people that are going, man, Chase, Jefferson, Malik Nabers. Like people scout the helmet, just like with Ohio State. You know what I mean,
sure.
Man? JSN, you got Olave, you got Wilson. Like JSN's got to be that good. So that's just going to be, I think, the steam he's going to get in the community. Fair or not, it's lofty expectations for sure.
And he's definitely steamed up since the beginning of the year when I got him in our Devy draft and running gun. He was available, and now he's the wide receiver 6 in fantasy.
Oh, he'd be the 101
by a
Well, him and Jaden Daniels would be the 101 by pretty far margin. So
let's go to Ryan Sorensen here. Thank you for the super chat. He says, love the channel. 10 teams start 12. Good for you. There's a 10 team, but it's start 12. Nicely done. Half PPR, full PPR for tight ends. Have Herbert, Stroud, Richardson, Olave, MPJ.
You missed Anthony Richardson.
You
said Anthony Richardson. You definitely said Anthony Richardson. Continue.
I'm glad I got more time to still not know what the hell MPJ is. Help me out right now. For some reason, I cannot do it.
Pittman Jr.
Okay, there we go. Come on. Who's ever called him that? Ryan Sorensen. You got me. Okay. Have Herbert, Stroud, Richardson, Olave, Michael Pittman Jr., Puka, Christian Watson, Geno. At running back, Gibbs, Najee, Keaton Mitchell, Hawk at tight end. As far as picks, the 101, the 109, 3 seconds, and then in 25 has 3 firsts. Taking Marvin Harrison Jr., but looking to make other moves. Tried to get Garrett Wilson, Tank, and Nico, but they wouldn't take anything less than the 101 plus, like you were saying. Advice?
All right, so 10 teams start 12, so quarterbacks matter a little less. I agree with. Again, we don't have to pencil in the 101 already, but I agree with the general principle of probably looking Marv over the quarterbacks. What picks did he have? He had a couple late firsts, right?
Yeah, 101, 109, 3 seconds. Yeah.
2
3
QB.
seconds.
It's 2 QB, not super flex.
Okay. That's a difference for sure.
Yeah, I mean, 2 QB, you're probably going to push a couple more quarterbacks up higher than some of the receivers. So you're in good shape with the seconds because it's a 10 team. So that's going to be kind of spilling over to some, first round ish type players that are going to be going in the second. So start 12. I'm actually kind of fine holding tight and, finding value deals where they come up. I'd be fine moving one of the seconds for a usable receiver, but I'm not in a hurry to do it. I guess the other strategy would be, we don't need a quarterback here, right? So there's no incentive to trade up from the 109 to try to hit on another QB, but it is 2 QB. Would you be, given it's 2 QB, would you be tempted to try to get a 4th quarterback here?
100%.
It's
I would
QB.
take one at 109.
Like you can get
If
like a
one-
Jaden. Would you trade up like? Would you trade one of the seconds in 109 for like 107 to take Jaden Daniels and just stash him?
100%.
Shane,
Yeah.
would you? Are you taking more quarterbacks here, Shane? Stroud, Herbert, Anthony Richardson.
I want one more.
How many freaking quarterbacks do I need? I
It's
know it's
two
start
QB,
two.
Shane.
I got
QB.
that. It's not
Half
quad
the quarterbacks
QB.
on that page. None of those quarterbacks that he has right now are even alive right now. None of
What?
them.
Herbert, look, there's going to be some
But it just
regression
shows
to
how-
injury.
Yeah, positive regression.
Positive
I hope
regression.
so.
Next
This
year,
has been
no
a brutal
quarterbacks will
QB
get
season.
injured.
Exactly. None will be injured, and he'll be fine.
Maybe all the refs will get injured next year.
It's a bad ref year.
Bad ref year. Refs
Which
are
will end
going
up being
down.
a good ref year, most likely.
You remember the ref year of 2024? Oh man.
You remember the year when they started off with the replacement refs?
Yeah,
and
so
everyone
as much as
complained for
everyone
Oh
like
wants
my
3 weeks?
gosh.
Everyone
was
wants
amazing.
to trash the refs, dude. Remember that. Remember that. I'm never going to criticize the referees again because we watched strike replacement scabs replace regular refs, and it was terrible.
I will never forget like the ovations and cheering for the first time a real ref
Yeah.
called like a penalty in a game. Everybody was like, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a big moment.
Thankless
right.
job.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so Gray Romano, thank you for the super chat. Part 1 of 2. 10-team PPR Superflex start 10. Originally, my T-Law, Burrow, Deshaun Watson seemed enough entering this season. Definitely. Is it safe to have a fourth QB entering next? Do I now take Caleb at 101 instead of Marvin Harrison Jr.? You guys originally suggested that I go Marvin Harrison with the 101 next year because I don't need a QB and the league doesn't value QBs that much. Thoughts?
Can you go back to that first
Yeah.
part that everyone had?
Shane, is this
Right.
overreacting to what happened this year?
First thing popped in my head is like, calm down. You have T-Law, Burrow, and Deshaun Watson. I understand that Watson broke his shoulder. I understand that Burrow tears his wrists every 3 weeks or gets injured somehow. I don't know. Trade one of them for a different QB that'll make you feel more secure, and then go draft Marvin Harrison, or trade 2 of those QBs, get a stud wide receiver for both of them, and then get Caleb. I don't care, but no, you don't need 4 quarterbacks. Like 3. I'll say this. I'll adjust a little bit based off of what has happened this year. I will be more likely and more apt to try to have three usable quarterbacks on my roster as opposed to 2, and then whatever survives. But no, dude, this would be what I would call an overreaction.
And here's the key comment. What did he say at the end? My league doesn't
value QBs.
Yeah.
So why would you draft yourself into something that your league doesn't value? But also, why are you panicking if your league doesn't value them? Does that mean you should be able to replace them easier? And it sounds like maybe he hasn't. So, just read your league. That's where you got it. If your league just says quarterbacks aren't worth anything, don't go, oh, mine got injured, so let me keep getting more. Bad idea.
Yeah, good call. Know your league. Okay, so let's go to this one right here. Fantasy Football Life. Thank you for the question. It says, yo, my first live of the fantasy season. Well, welcome. We're here every Tuesday at 8:30, man. We'll be around. Y'all helped me so much in the off season. Made playoffs in 11 of 15 leagues. Nicely done.
What's the
other
percentage?
4,
11 out of 15.
It's a lot.
Quite 80, but it's more than 60. Where are we at?
A lot.
I will go with a lot.
73.2%.
Boom. That's a T88 or TI89.
TI83.
Huh? There you go. TI83. That's probably aging ourselves.
Yeah, that's how old we are. The other 4 were rebuilt, and about 6 of those I got to buy. Well, hopefully we helped, but that's all you, man. That's a lot of work. Congratulations. Okay, so let's keep going here to Fran. Thank you for the super chat. 12-team Superflex start 10 PPR 6 point per passing touchdown. Got the buy, but have Herbie, Stroud, Purdy. Trade Herbert plus 2 mid to late seconds for Hurts. Stack team, but with Stroud banged up and Herbie on the IR, not sure if I can rely on Purdy. Thanks. What do you think?
Well, first of all, you have Stroud, Purdy, and Herbert. Herbert's down, but you have a bye. So you should have Herbert or Purdy and Stroud for the playoffs. Stroud has a concussion, not, a broken leg. So you're good there. But then, I'm getting Jalen Hurts for Justin Herbert in 2 seconds. I'm doing that whether he's injured or not. So, that's adding strength on strength there. That's an awesome bailout. That's an extremely discounted bailout price right there. So, all day I would do that.
Yeah.
Now you have 3 quarterbacks. Now you have 3 of the top, 12 quarterbacks? You've upgraded?
The only problem I had with this comment was not sure if I can rely on Purdy. Look, I hated Purdy last year. I said the dude is a myth. He's a fraud, blah, 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 blah. What does this dude have to do for you to feel like you can rely on him?
Yeah, I know.
Is the situation going to be any different next year? Is there a reason to think that something's going to go bad? Like, we've seen what it looks like, and what it looks like is he is a top 10 quarterback.
I think maybe it was can he rely on just Purdy the rest of the year?
Okay. No, okay.
If Stroud's back, Purdy and Stroud, like, you could get by with that. Trust me, I will have playoff teams rolling out far worse than those two. I'm trying to get to the ship. So, adding Hurts to that, you're probably in the best shape you could ever be.
I've got one league, and it's actually like a fairly high buy-in, and literally my only quarterback, and you can start 3 quarterbacks. My only quarterback is Justin Herbert. Like, literally the only one that I could start. So,
still in it, or?
Yes. I've got such a stacked team elsewhere, and it's mega high tight end premium format. Start 2 tight end 2.0. Got a great team, but I was just grinding with Herbert. Now I literally
Can you
don't
still
have
trade?
Yeah. No trade deadlines.
Dude, this is
playing a single.
That is the
trade deadline
team
league.
where you go out and you get the 3 grossest QBs. And
Exactly.
you're like, Nick Mullins, Bailey Zappi,
Vito.
and Easton Stick are winning the championship for me.
I'm gonna have to grind. I'm gonna have to get 30. It's MFL, so I'm gonna have to tack double the amount of time on to those trade offers to get that done. Shane shaking his head.
I'm just excited that the end of the season's happening, and I'm looking at the MFL leagues I can cull without any regret. And it's I'll
The
say
ones you can go unlink franchise and just walk away.
Oh, well, no, I've done that.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm down to
Okay,
22 right now. 1 charity, 1 redraft, and 1 what do you call that thing? A mock draft. So 19 leagues, and I'm going to cull that down.
Why,
they're all going to
why have
sleep
you unlinked other ones, but not the mock draft?
because it's ongoing.
What do you mean it's ongoing? Oh, it's a DLF mock draft?
Yeah. Like I can't. Yeah. And I jumped the gun the last mock draft I did and unlinked my franchise after round 17 because I thought there were only 17 rounds.
Just some insight, I used to do that at round 8, and I would auto draft 100 players in the pool so I could get out. And sometimes it would run out before it was over, and I'd have to go ask somebody to get the link back. Funny stuff.
Nice. Okay, let's address the crowd here. We're 48 minutes in, 345 eyeballs in here. Thank you so much for joining on a Tuesday night. Hit that like if you'd be so kind. Easiest way to help out the channel. Sandiford just says, just got better late than never.
I guess he just got here.
Just got
better late than never.
Oh, yeah. Got it. Let's work on the punctuation there, Sandiford.
Sandiford, we expect
That's
better.
The guy that answers our Is that what we're getting in these comments, Mr. Sandiford? You're just confusing people on TikTok. You respond like that.
Sandiford, I can do that. That's expected of me. Like forgetting whole words. You can't forget whole words.
Yeah, if we don't require punctuation, I could just put Shane on there. Okay, Tanner asked, because we were talking about selling draft picks, kicking back to 24 or 25 rather. When you say you're selling draft picks, do you still keep a share of each player in each class? Or do you literally mean you're selling all picks after 106? Do you know what he's saying here, Scott?
Yeah, I think for me, it is the intent would be to try to sell all the picks after the 106 for X price. But I also know, because I have so many leagues, that I'm not going to be able to do that. So just by sheer luck or random chance of people not willing to buy at the price I want to sell, I end up with a couple 109s. I end up with a 110, a 112. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to end up with 1 or 2 shares of even the guys I don't like. And I'm okay with that. I'm not so dogmatic that I've learned over the years. Just because everybody absolutely hates Quentin Johnston, for example, I'm not going to go 0 for 50. I'll take him 1 or 2 places.
Definitely.
And I'll live with it if it doesn't work. But I'm not going to go, I'm never drafting a player. And we're talking players that are, top 15 or better, like first round, second round picks. I won't say I have 0 of those guys.
Yeah. That's one thing about the London Wilson rookie class. I mean, lots of people had no idea who was number 1, and Ken Walker was mixed in there. I was like, I'm just going to take all of them. And I got a lot of shares.
And no one wanted those picks either. Once you
Nobody
had them,
wanted that was the deadest first round on the clock that I can remember.
I have 1 Quentin Johnston share because I said I have to have him in at least 1 league. If I dislike another wide receiver as much as I disliked him going into last year's draft, I'm not drafting him. I'll be wrong if he turns out to be good, but I hated Quentin Johnston. I said nothing good about him. And I was like, let me get 1 just in case. And you know what? I hate that I own him in that 1 league because I can't even trade him.
Well, you can. You're probably.
I will take a third. I will take a third.
He should be gone tonight, Shane. You should be able to spam and get a third.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Log. Thank for the super chat. We've got 1 of 2, 12-team Superflex start 10, Lamar and Bryce at quarterback, Pittman, Waddle, Higgins at wide receiver, Pierce, Canders at running back, Mandrews, Otten at tight end. 7 and 7, ending with the 106. What would it take to move up to the 104? I have 2 firsts the next 2 years and plenty of seconds and thirds. Any other moves heading into the offseason or just an unlucky year with this team? Appreciate it, fellas. And he said he also has QJ and JMO that he forgot to mention in the super chat.
No reason to mention them at all.
No, you did well, Log.
Can we throw those in with a second and maybe get to the 104? All of it. All of that stuff. The kitchen, clean out your refrigerator and throw everything on the counter. That's what you're trying to do.
Yeah, I'm not adding a bunch to this. I'm trying to add as little as I can and let the other owner or the other manager, let the other manager reject my trade. At least they know I'm serious because I added the what was the first the 106 to it. So I'm not completely lowballing them. I'm willing to negotiate, but let them negotiate against me.
Would you
Go ahead.
I was asked, would you do JMO, Quentin Johnston, and the 106 for the 104 and a third?
I don't even need the third back.
I'm trying to grind the margins and start with a third or 2 thirds and you got to start high enough so that the other side
feels like they're winning.
They have hooked you.
Yeah.
And then they can take off a little piece that they don't want to give back, probably the third. And then they counter. They take away the pick and you go, okay, I'll take that.
You know what?
The intent was to do that from the beginning.
Right. And you know what it brings to mind, right? Ray tweeted out something about being at a car dealership on Saturday, I think. And he was noting how the people were just laughing and all having a good time with each other. And that's exactly it. Like they're like, you know what? Just for you, I'm going to take off the rust proofing price. That's free. And there's no carrier fee. I'm taking off the carrier fee for you too. It's like these things never existed.
Free service at the dealership for life, but then you realize that that's already included with the manufacturer. So they're not really offering you anything. They're just recycling a benefit that you already going to get
and putting it on a fancy poster. Okay, Matt Sewell, thank you for the super chat. And this is my my last start comment, guys. After leaving the room. Thank you for the super chat. Love the show. Rebuild 12-team Superflex start 10, 1.5 PPR for tight ends. Have the 102 and 24. Seconds, Stroud, Chase, Waddle, Nico. Flowers, Dubs, and trash cans. QB or Marvin Harrison Jr. at the 102.
Ooh, Stroud. I don't even want to assign the picks right now. I think in most leagues, Marv would go 101, so you're probably not even going to have the option. So it's hard. It's a great pick. It's going to be a first-round startup pick value, so I'm not even assigning a name. Sure, I would take Marv there because I think he's the most valuable rookie, but it's December. We don't even know who's going to be in the class. So
In that case, then if it's not an obvious right now, I mean, would you bump it back to 103 or 104 if it's kind of like, hey, I could use Marv or I could use a QB? Or
I mean,
not
where
yet.
are you at? Where are you at on that, Shane? Right now, if you have the 102, what would you be willing to gamble to move that back to the 104? What would you need?
25.
Not even knowing the class, just kind of prospecting how you think it's going to shake out. It's probably Nabers or Bowers at that point, or
Give me
Jaden Daniels.
Give me a 25 first. I'm assuming I need multiple assets.
Would you send that, Clay? 25 first and the 104 for the 102 right now, sight unforeseen?
No. I would start with sending the 104 and a 25 first for the 102 and a 24 third or 25 second back, and then see what happens there.
Don't say the third, because Shane would still he would still accept that.
Yeah, he would. I would have to do
Start with the second.
Shane would smash.
Would you take that, Shane? If you had to give up, you have the 102, okay? So you also have the 202. Would you give up the 202 in that deal?
For the
102 and 202 for 104 and a 25 first.
No, I shouldn't have to.
I didn't ask if you should have to, would you?
Well,
So,
there's a lot of times that I make
So
decisions
no,
based
it's
off what I should have to do. I shouldn't have to do that. So I am not.
How many times have we heard from Shane that 202, if you can turn that into something that says 1 ST, you're interested?
I got you, but I'm also giving up the 102, which is infinitely, because that's my word for the night. It's significantly more better than the 104. If for no other reason, the flexibility of it, more better. Not
That's
even just better. You're
it's
redundant.
like an unnecessary.
Yeah, no, that's terrible grammar. More better is not how you speak
just
English.
better.
I don't.
You know, it's hilarious. If you take the definitions of infinitely and significantly, they're not even
completely different.
Infinitely goes on forever.
And
it goes on forever. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Love it. That's a great Shaneism. All right, you need me to drive, Clay, because you're out of super chats.
I've got two more here. I've got Tanner Holdorf. Do we still value QBs extremely high even after this down season of scoring? I went to check the 3-year average WAR, and the QB ones average was still below the wide receiver ones. Thoughts?
I got to give Tanner credit for actually looking at the WAR and coming to the question with, hey, I've already looked at it in my league. Because that's the first thing is look at the scoring, look at the distribution. Given what he's saying here, probably the most overvalued assets in the league are going to be Herbert, Stroud, Burrow, those QBs that are not going to finish top 2 or 3, but are seen as like high-end QB ones. Probably if you can get elite skill players for those guys, this is the type of format that you're willing to do it. So generally those QBs are going to be overvalued. I guess it depends on how people value the QBs below that tier 2. Do people still value guys like Goff and Russell Wilson as like first round picks? Because that format, I'd say they're not anyway either, because the WAR is going to be even lower with those guys. So yeah, I'd generally say they're overvalued in that format for sure.
I mean, so that 3-year WAR average, I'm going to assume includes this year, right? Which is dragging it down a little bit.
It's probably now. If you run the 3-year WAR, it actually is just 2020 through 2022.
22. All right. So
it's actually going to even overcorrect even more this year if you look at it. Yes.
I got you.
All right, so let's go to this one right here. I'll put this up from Noah Kittleson. He says, shout out to Scott for the Didit call and team help today. Much appreciated, helping me confirm my path forward. Yeah, Didit's dope, man. We've all done a bunch of calls. A good time. Again, we encourage you to take us up on the first call being free. If you have iOS, take us up on it. We could do essentially a mini roster of you. Thank you to Didit for making that available for all of us. So thank you for shouting that out, Noah. Let's go to Trevor Anderson. Thank you, Mr. Anderson. 12-team start 11 PPR Superflex, half-point tight end premium. Stroud for DJ Moore, the 106, Rashee Rice, and a 25 first. Start 11.
Start 11, Shane. Getting 4 assets here.
Yeah, how bad is your roster? It's one of those. If my roster is bereft, that's not the right usage of that word. Whatever. I'm in rare form tonight. I'm being too cute by half.
You. You're you're trying to bust out the 2 cube by half. That's when you're crushing it.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to will it into existence. How bad is my roster?
What if I told you I can move the 106 and that 25 first for the 103?
All right, done. DJ Moore.
Now you're getting Marv or Drake May in place of Stroud, and you're still getting DJ Moore and Rashee Rice on top. Not enough?
Well, I'm getting Daniels and DJ Moore, but yeah.
Whoever your QB2 is, yes.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Clay, you're not interested in moving Stroud for that, huh?
No, I
start
probably,
11, man.
Start 11, I probably would.
And that's the thing. Look, if it start 10,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we have this conversation. Again, unless your roster is absolutely just barren of things.
Stay out of there.
It's Gideon.
Gideon?
Yeah.
Come on.
Is that really the cat's name? Gideon?
That is, yeah. But he was biting the wires, but the computer, he was going to pull the AC adapter out of the computer. So I had to pull him out of there.
Nice. Okay, let's go to Jason here. This is a 12-team Superflex start 10. Send the 202 and 225 first for the 102. 12-team Superflex start 10.
Ooh, shame.
Okay, let's talk this through. Okay, so
Done.
the 202.
Done.
Yeah.
To start 10. I'm getting the 102. That's Caleb or Marv. The hype on both of those players is they're 25 first, you know? If there's ever a time where you say I can get those back,
yeah,
type of deal.
I'm fine with it. Again, I'm fine with it, assuming that you're not on a 4-year rebuild, which you shouldn't be. Maybe
now, Shane, if you take over
years.
a team that's dead and that 102 is all you have, are you taking that trade?
Yeah. I took over an orphan Ruben gave me, and it is absolutely just a trash can. And if I could make a deal like that, I would do it 19 times a day. What?
19.
19.
So here's just the word to the wise, right? Don't just accept an orphan blindly from a friend. You know what I mean? Yeah, at least look at the team. And this isn't on Ruben. It is 100% on me. I'm sure he shared the link with me, and I was just like, yeah, whatever, I'll take it. But I didn't even look at the team. And then as soon as I did, I went, oh, I don't want to do this.
Okay, I'm out of starts. Can you guys help me out here? Go
I
ahead,
got you.
Scott.
We're gonna rip through some of these. Shane, rumors of Marvin Harrison returning. Does that scare you? In 10 words or less?
Not really. That's 2 words. There's 3 syllables.
I will say no, because I think the NIL stuff is overblown in terms of what he would make compared to what he's going to make when he is a top 3 pick. He's going to make 30 plus million in his first rookie contract, plus a 5th-year option, which is going to be 25 million plus getting to free agency a year earlier. I mean,
and that's
are they offering him 10 million for 1 year? Then okay, but shy of that, I think he's he's coming back.
So here's the thing: so they can sign him after his 4th year, right? You can re-up after your 4th year.
Technically, after your 3rd year, you can
after your 3rd year. So
extension. Yes.
So he's delaying what could be a $100 million contract to make $10 million. No, I'm good.
Well, I've said it before. If I was him, the only deal I would take would be I need what my AAV would be in my first 4 years. So it's going to be around 9 or 10 million a year. Or depending on where he gets drafted. If he's top 3 pick, he's going to be, getting 9 million a year on average. I'll take that for a 1 year. But I'm also only playing in the games that matter. I'm not risking my career by going out there against Kent State, and someone shreds my knee. So it's like I'll play in, I don't know, Penn State game, Texas game, Michigan game. I'll play in like 5 games. That's it.
Assuming the weather's
they're going to be like, nah,
Yeah.
The point is, I'm not risking anything, so no way he comes back. So the answer is no, that does not scare me.
No. That's like 45 words at least.
Yeah, that I did not say under 10. Okay.
Next up.
Other good ones in here. This is an easy one. AB Puckeye logo.
Shane's iPad fund. Love it. Love it. It's like
I'll say this, and I appreciate everyone. Everyone is awesome. But if you're going to do that, jump on the Didit for 5 minutes and get something out of it, even if it is just me staring at you longingly.
Yeah,
What
bye,
did he
bye,
get
Shane.
I'm a salesman.
Kevin says, "Can you guys turn super chat back on?" Yeah,
Oh.
I turned them off.
Kev, so
no.
we love I am a whore, so I will do most anything for money. Everyone knows that. But I'm also old and very set in my ways, and I need to be in bed by like 10:15. So no, we can't.
Yeah. Let's go to so formats for Noah asks formats for non-standard leagues: 8-man, 14-man, best ball.
That's all we got. So, I don't
So
really
if it's
know.
I'm gonna say if it's an 8-man or woman league, that I want it to be start 14. Super flex.
Start 14.
PPC.
Yeah, I think he's asking if
long
it's an
distance
8-teamer
bonus.
or a 14-teamer. How would you design the league? So go ahead,
Yeah.
Shane. 8-teamer.
18
A,
team.
would you ever join one?
Maybe if they're going to let me run wild with these here, I'm going to go 8 teams, start 14, super flex, 2.25 PPR for tight ends, 0.25 PPC for running backs, 0.15 for every first down, obviously 6-point passing touchdowns. I already said long distance scoring, right?
You didn't, but
Long distance
no,
scoring.
you like long distance.
If it's
Clay,
going to
would you
be
join an 8-teamer?
the one I just described, doesn't that sound fun?
But even 8 times 14, that's still like pretty shallow.
I don't know what that
An
means.
8-teamer, I'd need it to be like 20 starters for me to be interested.
Just spend an extra like week and find like a few more people.
Fine, I'll compromise. It's a 8-team start 16 with all those other fun things.
Okay, this is a good one from Benny. I think we should hash out. This is the time where this has really come to roost in a couple of my leagues. People, on the draft order.
Benny, thank you for the super chat. He asks, is max points a good system? I feel it limits what kind of players non-playoff teams can roster. It's basically a best ball team to kill your draft position. What are your thoughts here, Scott?
He's right, but it also brings in a layer of strategy that you need to know how to navigate, right? If it is max points for, you probably need to be pretty smart as to what you're rostering on your bench. You do not want to have a bunch of, I was going to say Marquez Valdez-Scantling, but that's not a great example because he doesn't really get any points. So players where they're
Brandon Cooks who can like screw you one week, stuff like that.
I think a tier below that, like Michael Gallups, those types where it's like every once in a while they go for 13 points and you're going, I'm never going to start them. Khalil Shakir, those types of players. So I think it just brings into strategy of, I think in max points for leagues, you need to really have your roster construction dialed in. You need to know what you need to do when you're not contending. And then I would also say it's a good system if there are rules around it. Two issues with max points for. Clay, we're having that issue in one of our leagues right now where people didn't set, it's max points for, but they didn't set their lineups.
Yeah.
Which has impacted the playoffs. It's impacted the median. Teams just leaving players blank for multiple weeks, and now the median's been thrown off and it cost somebody a playoff spot. And they're upset saying it wasn't enforced. And I don't blame them, but I also know the people that don't set their lineups, they're going, it's max points. I don't benefit by not trying. So I think people get lazy when it's max points for, like it doesn't matter. Don't take guys off IR. It doesn't matter because I'm not benefiting by it. So there's that. I think the other thing is you have to have rules around, you got to have a minimum number of players people have to carry.
Yeah.
I'm in a league right now where someone ended up getting the 101. I look at their team. They have 19 players and it's 32-man rosters. Well, of course their max points sucks because they're literally not holding any players. And I think that's a little unfair too. You should have to put stuff on your roster, even if it's just backup QBs or, that kind of thing. You got to abide by a floor.
Shane, nice job already doing the math in the back end there. Shane's spinning numbers here in the private chat.
Look,
okay,
so
what's next?
Oh, okay. Poconos 13 asks, is it wrong to accept a trade in your inbox? Guys, calm down.
I wanted to read this one. You called him Poconos just to start it off right off the rip.
Sorry, guys, you go.
I would go
Pionio.
Off the rails. Yeah. Pionio 13. Thank you for the super chat. Is it wrong to accept a trade in your inbox after the player's values changed? Accepted Burrow and Andrews for Herbert, Diojon, and a third 20 days after sent.
So this is like this is one of those things. It feels like just because something's legal, is it okay to do? Right? Like we all know if something's illegal, technically you can't do it. So that's a nice, clear divide.
Yeah, it's like finite. Yeah.
Yeah, finite. There you go. That's the wrong usage of that word. It's a binary is the corrector term. Corrector. I would say it's up to the other manager to rescind that trade. It is really on them.
Yeah, you let a trade sit out there for 20 days on injured players. I mean,
I get that. Me, because I am a sweet person, I probably would message you and go, do you still want to do this trade? Because you sent it to me last month.
Yeah.
Shane, you would be the one that it's got sent out on and then accepted, and you'd go, wait a second. I didn't want to do that.
Yeah, no. You're on the other side.
Well, you probably do check it more frequently, and you don't let them sit out there, probably.
I do. Again, on Sleeper, yes. On MFL, there is a chance that I could definitely, like, there every week I go in, and when I'm setting my lineups, I go, oh, I offered 4 trades in this league, huh? So, yeah, that would definitely happen to me in MFL.
So we already put this one up. Thank you again, Mott Dups.
Oh, didn't realize that. All right.
All good.
Okay. We have another one. This is an easy one. Shane can knock this one out. Same guy. Mott Dups.
Mott Dups. I have a top 3 pick. Hate college. Who are top 3 picks? Go ahead, Shane.
We're going to go ahead with Caleb Williams, Marvin Harrison Jr., not senior. I'm not saying anything bad about senior, by the way. I don't want to get shot. And probably Drake May. I prefer Daniels, but Drake May is probably going to be the consensus. So
single QB now.
Single QB.
So Marv.
Who
else? Give me your other
Nabers.
2.
Nabers.
Who's your 3?
You going Bowser? You going Bow Wow?
I'm really thinking about it, but you shouldn't do that, right? Like, didn't we just live through this experience?
I mean, we don't know jack shit about his league, so we don't know if it. I mean, I'm guessing it's not 3 PPR for tight ends, but we don't know. So, just without anything, who would you take right now? Pure asset name cachet pick. Who would it be? Bowers?
I think so, and I hate that. I really do, because I've lived through the Kyle Pitts experience.
Is that where you'd go, Clay? Just on the name right now?
I think so. I think in more casual leagues, tight ends are going to have a lot of steam for next season with what Laporta and Kincaid and everybody did. So yeah, that's where my head is right now, at least. Okay, what's the next one here, sir? From Casey. What's happening, Casey? 2024 is the super chat amount. Appreciate
He's
that.
already moving to next year.
Brings us back. Good to see you, Casey. Sup, guys? 12-team, 1 QB, start 9, no tight end premium. Herbie, Henry, Gibbs, Kyron, Amon-Ra, Jefferson, Pittman, London, Diojon, and then at tight end, Goedert and Kincaid. Have 3 firsts, including 1 in the toilet bowl that will be between the 101 and 104. Trade the toilet bowl pick and Kincaid for Garrett Wilson. Would you risk this? You would risk this right now? I mean, it could be the 101.
If it's a 1 QB and it's not the 101.
As long as it's not the 101.
102 through 104 and a 1 QB plus Kincaid and a non-tight end premium start 9, I'd be willing to risk it. It's a 75% chance you end up with at least a deal you like, if not profit on.
Look at this team. Do you need to do this, Scott and Shane? We can bring you into. I know it is a 1 QB start 9, but it's a lovely team. You don't want to keep that thing in your pocket?
It's an interesting question. I guess my thought would be my team is already so good that what if I lose on that deal? What do I actually lose? I'm still just adding Garrett Wilson to the team. You know what I mean? It's like if I lose the 103 and the 101 and Kincaid, sure, I lost the deal, but I don't know. What would you do, Shane?
I look at a worst case scenario. I end up with the 104 in a one QB league. I go, oh, crap. You know what I mean? Like, we just sat there debating the 103 for an hour and a half.
And you have now Brock Bowers and Dalton Kincaid, and you're trying to get anything for them in a non-tight end premium start 9. You could be screwed. You know what I mean? Yeah. And now you have Goedert, Kincaid, and Brock Bowers in a league where tight ends don't matter.
Yeah, best case scenario, or I draft Rome, how you pronounce his name, Odunze.
Are you letting it ride, Clay?
No.
You're taking Garrett Wilson, aren't you?
Yeah, probably, because again, if it's not the 101, so I was just trying to think of different trades, but
No
I'm sure
premiums.
Kincaid is
Yes,
is part of it for a reason. I was going to
It's
say,
a throw in. Yeah.
I was going to
there's
say,
no
could you do London
premium.
or
It's start 9. I hate being safe, but yeah, I'll go safe and stay with Wilson.
It doesn't part of the analysis on this, and I think it's fair that we talk through it this much because it's a nice super chat by Casey. But like, this is a hammer that's on the table, right?
Yeah.
Even if you lose the deal, you still got a hammer, and it's probably really hard to get 2-for-1s or 3-for-1s, and you literally have one in front of you. So I think you just got to take it and walk away. So great question, Casey. That really that's the kind of questions we love because it literally makes you sit there and think like, what is my risk reward? So
Yeah.
For sure.
Here's one we've had in here for a little while. Let me unstar the Casey one. Alexander. Good question here.
All right. Thank you for the super chat, Alexander. And thank you for your work, Scott. 10-team Superflex Dynasty Start 8. I officially have the 101, 102, and 105. Notable players: Burrow and A-Rod, Najee, Brain Rob, Jefferson, Garrett Wilson, JSN, London, Higgins, Downs, Laporta, and Otten at tight end. Any recommended moves? Running backs to target? Super shallow here, Shane. 10-team start 8 super flex. What moves here? Has the 101 and 102. That's a nice feeling.
Yeah, I mean, so the 101 and the 102, if you want to go offer one of those for Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase, go for it. Otherwise, well, then that knocks him out of the box. You already got him. Unless it's copy league, go get both of them. If you want to offer it for Jamar Chase or CD Lamb, the 102, sure. That London in this super shallow league, like I'm fine. I like London. I like Higgins. Downs are fine. JSN. How many of those dudes do I need to put together to tier up? It just
would you give the 102 for Jahmyr Gibbs? You know,
start 8. Yeah,
or it's a super flex. It's a super flex, but it's a start 8.
Start 8. Yeah. And I've talked about Gibbs a lot. He's exempt from my running back hatred, even though he's had a down game or two. I still like Gibbs a lot.
Well, because he asked what running backs to target, and like if you have 101 or 102, it's what's Gibbs. The list of running backs? Gibbs, Bijan.
Yeah, I have Bijan, Gibbs, and
that's it.
CMC.
Sure.
Try the 105 for CMC.
Yeah.
That even feels
CMC. Talk about a hammer, baby.
Yeah, and it's a start 8. It's a start 8. So that might be your only shot to get a guy like that before we start getting into point season. So.
Love to give up 105 for Christian McCaffrey if I could. Hammer.
There you go. Chris put one in here as well. 12-team start 11.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate the super chat. 12-team start 11 super chat. 12-team start 11 super flex. PPR 1.5 for tight ends. It has the 102, 103, 106, and another playoff first. Have Kyler and T-Law at QB. The team with the 101 is taking Marvin Harrison. Should I take wide receivers so it pushes the top 3 QBs down, but still guarantees me a QB at 106? I like this question. This is that's why it's nice when you have this many picks in the first round. Just look at the leverage and the chess moves that you can try to make. What do you think about this? You don't want to get too cute by half, as Shane would say.
I am taking a QB with one of those picks, 102 or 103. I wouldn't take receivers over the QBs because he's thinking, I'm going to still get a QB at 106, but you essentially kind of reached on the first 2 picks just to.
Well, and that's the thing is
QB to you when you have 2 in your hand already.
That wide receiver,
you should just trade the pick.
Yeah, that wide receiver you're taking at 103, you're really overdrafting, which is I don't like that. 102, 103, I'm probably taking Malik Nabers. If I'm hell bent on taking a wide receiver at 102, I'm taking a quarterback.
Clay,
Scott's taking quarterbacks at both spots.
I'm hitting the 2. I'm hitting the QBs, and I'm pushing the what the goal is, you push the third QB off the board before you're 106, right?
And
now
then you
get
hope
Brock
somebody goes
or
Bowers. Yeah.
You get Bowers or the second receiver. That's what I think I would
You
do.
go QB, hope that someone then gets in a panic and they're like, oh, crap, I need to go draft Bo Nix.
No, they take Jaden
JJ
Daniels.
McCarthy. Marvin Harrison, Jaden Dan. Oh, okay. So, well, no, Jaden Daniels is gone at 103. I already took him.
And then
so
you know what? If they go
Greg
Malik
May.
Nabers and Brock Bowers, you go Jaden Daniels at 106, and now you have 5 quarterbacks, right, Shane?
until you have to move them, and no one will trade with you.
Yeah. People are just like, no, thank you. Okay,
That's where
let's
we get the question next year. Hey, I got 6 top 12 quarterbacks, and I can't get anything for them.
I thought I had a great 24 draft.
Do I accept Amari Cooper for Kyler Murray? It's my best offer.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Trip
How many
Brown
more
is in here.
Just wanted to pop in and say my appreciation. Took your advice and traded receivers in the flat tier last year for first this year. Ended up with a 101 and 103. That's
Awesome.
That's beautiful, man. Flat tiers. Do those process trades. Make those moves for fungible assets, right? Yeah,
And
we got a lot of
another comment in there that was like, when you have receivers in that range, don't be afraid to kind of re-roll, because sometimes when you hit, you turn a wide receiver 2 into a top 2 pick or top 3 pick.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can go your way if you're willing to just say, Devontae Smith, I'll trade him for a random mid first, and then it ends up being good. And then you look like, damn, that's awesome. I got the 103 out of it. So great question.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see here. You got another one for me. Benjamin Goff. Thank you for the super chat. It's a cute dog. What is that? Pomeranian? Looks like a little chow or something. A little chow face.
It's an Akita.
Akita. Okay. 12-team Superflex, start 10, PPR, 1.75 for tight ends. Hurts, Ramondre. Going right into Ramondre from Hurts. Okay. Jalen Hurts, and then at running back, Ramondre, Tajay Spears, Keaton. Wide receivers, JSN, Ayuk, Christian Watson, Demario Douglas. Tight ends, Pitts. Just looking at Scott's face. Tight end,
all I saw was quad. That's a quad.
Finished 5-9 and have the 102, 104, 105. 2 seconds, thirds, fourths each this year. What should my off-season plan be? So 12-team Superflex, start 10, 1.75 for tight ends. Has Hurts, and then you see the rest there. Quat, McBride, Pitts. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, never call a woman a quat. You will get. Whew. Anyway, upgrade wide receivers. I'd like to upgrade my wide receivers. The fact that you named Hurts and nothing else indicates to me that you need a quarterback. As much as I like rookie quarterbacks, as much as the next guy, I'd like to see if I could take a couple of those picks, maybe the 102 and the 105, and see if there's a top 6 quarterback, maybe I could entice someone to give me for those picks. But wide receiver is definitely somewhere I want to move. Upgrade, excuse me. And I want to move Pitts. I hope that Pitts has like 3 more good games and then move him.
Clay, is this the kind of team you would tier off of Jalen Hurts if you could get like Anthony Richardson and like another first or something like that?
For sure. This is one of those split teams. It needs so much. It needs so much work. But this is where you split them up.
And you got that. I mean, that previous question we just answered about the 2, 3, and 5, like how to navigate it. You're in a similar spot with the 4, 2, and 5 here. So yeah, you probably got to split an asset in there, Benjamin, but really good question. Thank you for the super chat. We had a quick one here from, this should be an easy one, but a team, Nick had this one in pretty early. Lost Herbert, wants to know if he would give up a late first for Will Levis. I think I would. I'm okay with that. Shane?
Yeah, you're good. You're good with that? A late 24 first, give that up for Levis?
Listen, I think sometimes there's those games where it's a primetime game. I don't want to say the narrative's flipped on Levis, but you're starting to hear mainstream NFL people going, you know what? Maybe I kind of like this guy all along. And they're now down to, I think, the 10th pick. Like that win is, if they can get 1 or 2 more wins, he's pushing them out of the conversation of it's a clear cut. He's getting replaced. So I think he's where Sam Howell was like 4 weeks ago, where you're like, damn, they may play their way out of a top 5 pick. I think Levis is there. I think there's a real shot that they look at, if this guy's the one, like, we're not going to force it and trade up for a QB. Because let's say they trade up for Jaden Daniels and they got to trade into the top 6.
Mm-hmm.
What does he have around him? Right? Like, what does that look like? Where unless they're getting unless they're getting a top 2 or 3 pick, which they're not going to, isn't that kind of weird? Like, you give up all these assets to draft Jaden Daniels, and then you have Will Levis sitting over here. He already has a bad line and no weapons. So, you know what I mean? It just feels like I'm pretty confident saying they're going to give Will Levis another year. And he may be bad, but I think he's getting another year, 100%.
Yeah, I quite honestly, I didn't even think that's an option, that he's not their starter next year. I think at a minimum,
I mean, had they won 2 or 3 games, had they gone 4-13 and they pick 3 overall, then that's an option.
And if he looked completely overmatched, he really hasn't. He fumbles all the time, like it's his job. And he's kind of a turnover machine. But that said, I just assumed, based on what he's been doing, that he's going to be the starter there next year.
He's a live asset.
Yeah, I'd probably see what else I can do with that first. Is there something I can add to it to go get someone like Brock Purdy, who some people don't like still?
Yeah, that's a good one. So we'll dump that one. Thank you, Nick, for that question.
Are you guys still starring them? Are these already starred?
No, we're clearing them out. This is a whole panty dropper.
Okay, because you can just star them now, and I can just start reading them myself and pulling them up. Right?
No, don't listen to him, Scott.
Okay, you guys do your thing then. Panty dropper 3. Let's see if he's got quad on this team. 12-team super flex, 1.5 for tight ends. Start 9. I own the 101, 102, 3, 4, and 6, and the TBD playoff first. What's the true value of the 101? Willing to move Caleb and settle with May plus Daniel/Penix?
It's a start 9, and you have all these picks. I mean, what's the value? I'll just answer this, and I'll let Shane go. What's the value of the 101? Like, you're controlling the value. You own the draft. So you're setting the price. And if nobody wants to pay for any of the rookie picks, then you could say the value is nothing. It's the value of you're getting the players. So what do you do here, Shane? I guarantee you'd not make even half these picks.
No. I'm trading probably as many of these as I can, if not all of them. So somewhere between 0 and all of them is how many picks I would.
Month Shane's out of this draft.
And then overpays to get back in. To take Bo Nix.
Yeah, getting Bo Nix at 112. I can't believe I did that. I don't want to settle, right? So if I think Caleb is significantly better than May, which might be where we get back to come the NFL draft, then I don't want to settle for anything when I don't need to in a start 9 and I already control the draft. Like, what am I settling for? Just no reason.
Okay, from Trevor Anderson, thank you for the super chat. 12-team start 11 super flex, 0.5 tight end premium. PPR have Allen, Stroud, Blue Jeans, the 101, a playoff first, the 201, 3 more 24 seconds. Here's an inbox offer. The 106, DJ Moore, Rashee Rice, Gabe Davis for the 101. 12-team start 11 super flex. What do you think here, Scott?
I mean, similar to one we got earlier where a bunch of stuff was getting traded for one solo piece. I don't think I'm getting enough here. Gabe Davis adds very little to the trade. Rashee Rice is just a throw in. So 106 DJ Moore, if you can give me a 25 first in there, I would do it. Mm-hmm. But I think anything shy of that, I think I'm passing on this, even in a start 11.
So we want to get rid of, like you can keep Rashee Rice and Gabe Davis, and I'll just take a first instead. How about that? And then we'll talk.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, slim it down. Okay,
from that one. Comparison to Nabers. Hide that one.
It's Goedert already.
This was a good one. This is a best ball question.
Okay, from Adam C. I traded away Herbert, Rice, Bobo, Juwan Jennings For Tua, Downs, and Jonnu Smith, my only Herbert league with no deadline. 12 teams, start 11, super flex, best ball, 6 point per passing touchdown, and it's 1.5 for tight ends.
So we put this one in there. Just Shane, when you get to best ball, you got to gear up for guys like Bobo and Juwan Jennings.
I know.
Those are the roster cloggers where trust me, I had to adjust because I see those names and I go, oh my gosh, why are they on a team?
No, I mean, I know they both had startable, at least Bobo probably had 2 startable weeks and Juwan Jennings had at least 1. So yeah, I get it.
So this comes down to basically no trade deadline. He's out of it. In best ball, you need an array of quarterbacks just because of how random the scoring is. Would you take out Bobo and Jennings? You can pick up guys like that off waivers, probably similar to Jonnu Smith. If you're desperate in a best ball league, would you give up Justin Herbert and Rashee Rice for Josh Downs and Tua?
I would.
That's the best you can get.
Yeah, I would. Okay.
Yeah.
As someone that's been trying to shop
passing touchdown.
Yeah, I've been trying to shop Herbert in the one league that I own him in, and it's hard in those streets, man.
You're not even getting like any Tua type offers, Kyler, none of those.
I was offered. Let's see. No. Let's just say I'm getting terrible offers. That it's not even worth it. Like they want me to add to Herbert significantly to tear up.
Speaking of that guy right there on the screen, Shane, Justin Fields, are you back in? I was surprised.
Yeah. I gotta read this.
Where you had him in our Monday morning drive, you were a little bit back in. I want to hear you talk about it.
I mean,
yeah. So the question is real quick here, Shane. Let me just tee it up. So from Daniel T, because it's funny too. Just got in here. Did you guys talk about Justin Fields, the league winner yet? Imagine selling for any 24 first. And that's definitely a shot at us, which is fine, whatever. So Shane, what are your thoughts here from the Monday morning drive? Justin Fields.
Justin Fields is an interesting case study in when to exhibit patience and when not to, right? You could have looked at his last year and gone, well, he kind of had a horrible first start of the year and then things got better, and it almost followed the exact same pattern except we threw in an injury this year. I got in on him from the sense of I was willing to buy for this year for his production, and I convinced myself, but the way I explained it is like I buy a running back for the production in this year and I don't think about the future. I'd say Hurts is probably Fields is more than that. Obviously, even if he gets traded, he's probably going to he's going to start somewhere next year. And I guess we've seen his floor. I don't know if he's never going to be Lamar Jackson as a passer. I said Lamar Jackson's a good passer, so suck it, guys. Because he is. He'll never be that, I don't think. But I don't know that he'll need to be. So, yeah, I mean, maybe selling for a 24 first, depending on where that 21st first landed. Definitely probably not a great move at the time, but you live and learn. Like I said, he is an interesting case study in when we should exhibit patience on a player or not.
So 30 seconds on Fields. His last 10 games since week 4, he's top 10 in the league in CPOA and EPA. Or CPOE and EPA, which is essentially an efficiency mark where you can say, okay, he's not a complete dog from a passing standpoint. Now, part of that is there's rushing plays in there, so it's a little bit misleading. But then you look at, okay, he's definitely leaving teams. He's going to leave the Bears. They're going to move him, most likely. It's going to be really hard for them to pass on the 101. I know there's speculation they may roll with Fields, but this is a team that hasn't had a good quarterback since the 80s. So for them to go, we're that confident in Fields, the amount of pressure that's now on him if they pass on a QB is immense. So, but I do think he's earned his way into someone would trade for him and start him. Like, I think that's in the cards. That's not in question anymore. It's not, well, they're just going to bury him on the bench. Like, I definitely think he is a starter going forward. But then I just harken back to the fact that his sample size, there's very few QBs that have come to that and ever been keys to the franchise guys. Does that not mean he can't start for 4 or 5 more years and be really good for fantasy? Sure. But I still don't think when you're looking at that data to say getting out for a first is awful. You know what I mean? I don't think that's a terrible process. Do you wish you had him for the playoffs? Yeah. Do I wish I had him on a bunch of teams and then I can hold him till he gets moved and then trade him for a first? That's awesome. But I still don't think it was an awful process.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what. So I found my line on where I was willing to move Herbert for was when I got to Justin Fields, and I went, no, this is crazy talk. Because in a year's time, I could be in this spot going, I wish I had Herbert back because Fields bombed out in Vegas or wherever.
What would you need to get on top to consider taking Fields on if one of your Herbert shares or one of your Burrow shares or someone like that you feel more confident with? 25
Considering,
first?
I mean, 25 first would probably be enough. Yeah. That would alleviate a lot of my. It would alleviate it because again, I know I know Fields is going to give me the production the rest of the year. That really doesn't matter if he throws for a single touchdown the rest of the year. Just his rushing ability is going to give me that production the rest of this year.
So Buck says, food for thought. I'm starting to change my views on wide receivers that are outside the top 10. I feel selling assets like Olave and/or Wilson for London and a first, or Nico. Point being, these wide receiver assets that are part 2 viewed as top 10 assets, but produce back end wide receiver 2 or 3 numbers, sell the hope and get a plus.
Yeah, I started this one because Shane and I have talked about this for how long, Shane, where if you can get the receivers that are overvalued on the market, yet you look at their production and you can tear down and get something like he's talking about. Like you love Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson, but you would give up one of those for Drake London in a first.
Yeah, and it's because for whatever reason, you want to blame the quarterback play. They haven't done it this year. They haven't taken that next step, which is kind of what I needed to see done. Drake London feels a little low to me. I'll say that. I will say that because I don't know that Drake London's even a top 15 wide receiver, but it's a process trade. So even if you're wrong, you still have the first to dig you out of that hole, which is the point of the trade. So you're making 2 bets against your 1 bet. You know, the 1 bet that Chris Olave is going to improve next year because he's going to get a quarterback, right? They're going to get him a quarterback. Hopefully. Garrett Wilson's going to improve next year because Aaron Rodgers is going to be fine at 45 years old coming off an Achilles. Like, why wouldn't he be fine with a new head coach and all that's probably going to go in New York? So it's a smart bet. It is. And if someone were to come to me with that because I have so much Chris Olave, pretty good chance I would accept it.
Yeah, that was the last question. I put that up there because basically what he's saying is if you can find the flat ranges and you can leverage trade, get free firsts out of it, I'm always willing to make those bets, whether it's low-end QB1s, whether it's, high-end wide receiver 2s and below, basically any running back outside of the top 2 or 3, you would do that. So I think it's always when you see flat ranges and you can essentially get 2 for 1s and one of those picks is a first, it's really hard to turn that down regardless of who the players are. So great question to end it. That is it, Clay. No more star questions.
I see 5 more in there.
I don't see any.
No, you don't.
Okay, did we do this one?
No, then maybe Shane has some hidden ones that he's hiding.
No, we didn't. Wait.
All right, let Shane drive the rest of the show.
Okay. 12 teams, start 10 super flex. Thank you for the super chat, Adam. 1.5 for tight ends. Secured the 101. My team is very young, consisting of Stroud, Levis, Richardson, Charbonnet, Kendre, Roshan, JSN, Puka, Jaden Reed, DeMario, Kincaid, and Cans. Keep the 101 and take Caleb / MHJ / May or trade for a bigger haul. I only have the 101 and 4/3 this year. Stupidly traded my second for Levis after his first game. Well, that's not TBD.
Yeah, a second, whatever.
Yeah, that's pretty solid.
Yeah,
you just Stroud, Richardson, Levis. I'm definitely not focused on having to take a quarterback here. I'm willing to be real flexible with that pick, given your receivers are bad. You have no running backs. You have no other picks. I mean, can I turn that pick into 2 firsts? 103 and a 25, 104 and a 25, something like that. This is the team to do it on because you lack assets.
And look, I just want to point out the important words you said there. Flexibility. Be flexible. Don't be tied to any of these players. Like I look at all these things and I go, well, what can I do? What can I move around? Like I'm not tied to any of these. Is the 101, is that what I'm going to move? It depends. What's my return for it? Is it greater than what I could get for Stroud, or can I move Stroud for a return that's even greater than the 101? So I would not get too attached to the players. Make sure you're remaining flexible. I feel like a lot of rigor mortis, that's not the word. Rigor mortis is setting in with people where they're just like, this is who I'm taking 1, 2, 3. I said this last week. Stop getting so attached to the names right now. That just look at them as flexible assets. That's what you have. That's the truly important part of that.
That short that I dropped too is funny because even in the description where I said, not attaching names to the picks, feel free to attach Marvin Harrison Jr.'s name to your picks. That tends to go over well, but people are like, I completely disagree with Shane's take. It's like just read the read the description. Nobody does. J. Lau says, I did it and you should too. Thanks for the actionable insights about my team, Scott. Can't wait to dominate next season. Oh, and if you want to answer a question from me, price check on Stroud in picks. What do you think, Scott?
I mean, we already kind of established he's right on the fringe of that, worth that 101, 102 range, right? Talked about that earlier. So package of picks. 3 firsts, one of them being a top 4 pick, top 5 pick, 2 other firsts. I mean, you're probably not getting more for that, but let's just say if I have Stroud, that's not what I'm looking to do to move him. I'm looking to move to maybe a quarterback that now is seen as like a Burrow or Herbert or Lawrence. I'm willing to go down if I can get assets. I'm not really looking to go, oh, how many picks can I get for him? So I don't know. It's a tough question because I think a lot of teams wouldn't even give you more than that. Yet if you have Stroud, you're not. Someone offers you 225s in the 107. Clay, are you trading him for that?
225s in the 107?
Yep. So you're getting 3 firsts, but it's unless you go, I just don't need quarterback. Like you have that one team where you have 4 top 10 quarterbacks or something. Like you would maybe consider it there, but
right.
Context specific, no, you wouldn't want to do that form of a trade.
Exactly. Not that type of trade. Exactly.
No, your team would have to be CJ Stroud and nothing else. Then go, all right, I'll just take 3 firsts because it doesn't matter with CJ Stroud. My team's still going to be bad and I'm still going to need assets.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. What else we have? From Graphic 13, got my Dynasty Trades in 5 cap yesterday. Looks great. Thank you. Yeah. Sent him one. I think he got the 5. Yeah, you got the white, maybe the white and black. Yes, and people are funny here. So Jacob's smart. Jacob and someone else did it too, but they put just #hammer into the chat because they had a feeling that there was likely going to be a #hammer giveaway. So I'm going to honor that. I'm going to start a giveaway tool thing here real quick to give away a hat. #hammer. Just go ahead and start putting it in there. And this can be a Dynasty Trades in 5 hat, hammer hat, or you can get a t-shirt. I don't give a shit. I'll send you the link. So we got 2 entries in there, #hammer. All right.
And this is the final comment of the night. Happy Tuesday, Trades in 5 fam, and good luck to everyone in the playoffs. And honestly, yes, good luck to everybody in the playoffs. Unless you're playing me, I hope you go down in absolute flames and shambles and you cry yourself to sleep next week. But good luck to everybody, especially the folks that watch this show. We don't care about people that don't watch this show. So to the people that watch this show and our patrons, and hey, keep sharing their stories with us when like I said, it's corny, but I love hearing how you did this year.
Yeah.
Small part in it. Like it really does keep you going.
Yeah, we did get a lot of awesome comments and tweets. Like, look at you guys helped me. A lot of it's you though. You put in some work. Glad we could hang around to help. Okay, so let's see here. I guess I'm going to switch over to the giveaway tool. So if you wouldn't mind teeing me up here, I'll share my screen. Okay. Yeah, We've got such an engaged crowd here, man. We've got 46 people who entered in #hammer. You have 2 seconds remaining. 1. All right. Let's see who's going to win this. We won last time.
Yes, we did. Dynasty Trades in 5 pulled it home.
Daniel T. Look at that. Wait, Daniel, Yeah, we obviously just answered a question from that's fantastic. Okay, Daniel T. Okay, you will get one. Let's just go ahead and hit draw again. Why not, right? And if somebody in the crowd doesn't win and wants to buy some merch, that'd be cool too. It's down in our description, right?
Yep.
Oh, look at Torres.
Torres.
Great. Nice.
Torres is in midseason degenerates.
Yeah. He took my spot.
Yep.
Yes, he did. He's actually done okay in that league since.
Has he? Good.
He's definitely, we've upgraded managers for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, I
ones that know how to use
team.
the platform. No, it was a good team. It's just a manager that responds to trades on the platform.
In fairness to that manager, MFL is it's the lesser of the two major platforms.
It is. It's horrific. It's horrific. Now, I mean, whatever. It has its benefits, but anyway, so yeah, I'm about to start pasting in here links to Didit expert pages. Okay. So Shane, Scott, and myself, you can hit any of us up, but definitely take us up on the free call, and we will take a peek at your squad. So that's Scott's is next, and then to try to differentiate myself from these cool guys, I have got a handy calendar link. Look at that right there. Guys, this was fun. We have 370 folks still in here. Great time as always. Would you like to say goodnight, guys?
No, I'll just say if you're going to do Didit, come prepared with you get a free call. So come there with actual, a whole league that you want to go over, and its whole team, 30 minutes. That's fine. It benefits both of us because you get the free call. So just, you probably don't want to use your free call one time on, hey, I have one question. I'll be on there for 2 minutes. You know what I mean? Take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And you can hit us up for start sit kind of stuff. Oh, we'll talk about that in the back end. I'll hop off and end the stream now. Thank you everyone for joining. We will we'll see you soon. Enjoy Manic and Chill on Thursday or Friday. See ya.